Hallelujah!
Welcome to ADHD Whiskey. My name is Matt. And welcome to the 19th day of the Minnesota Whiskey Elite Blind Whiskey Tasting Advent Calendar for people who enjoy whiskey and or people who enjoy watching whiskey videos. Or if you just happen to stumble upon here, just keep watching. Do me a favor. Just watch it and forget that you did later on. Helps me in the algorithm. Don't click off. Don't do it. I'm gonna take the 19th sample out of this box, pour it in a glass, and review its ass. It doesn't take me very long unless, of course, I make it take very long, in which case I don't necessarily love editing the video because I'm like, why didn't you just get to your point? Which is kind of where I'm at right now. Like, why don't I just pour the sample into the glass and then review it real fast like I said I was gonna do? No, instead I sit here and I'm like, I'm just gonna do this and that, and I don't wind up doing it until it's like 10 minutes into the video and people are like, why did I sit here and listen to this guy talk about what he was gonna do when he didn't even do it? Until later. Day 19. It goes Dasher and Dancer and Donner and Blitzen, Comet and Cube. America. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? R.I.P. DMX. Twirling and swirling day 19, taking a peek, if you know what I mean. And I would say that the color of this is not super dark, not super light, kind of right in the middle. Okay. Some corn is coming out of the glass, some delicious distilled mash of corn, rye, and malted barley perhaps. There is some nice delicious like Werther's notes coming out of here, some caramel notes, like peanut brittle if peanut brittle weren't made of peanuts. More like caramel brittle, like caramel and butterscotch brittle. It's like a caramel butterscotch cookie. Nice. A little bit of pie crust, like a graham cracker pie crust. A little bit of cheesecakey note to it as well, a little bit of cheesecake on there. Could this possibly be Maker's Mark? Could possibly be a wheated bourbon. That's just kind of where I'm headed here. Day number 19 is a little bit confusing on the nose, has me kind of like up in the air wondering what this could possibly be. So we should probably give it a taste and then we'll see. Day 19, down the chimney. This is giving me major wheated bourbon vibes. Major wheated bourbon, like a Maker's Mark vibe almost. It is kind of a grassy, a little bit young tasting. Corn, wheat, malted barley, probably the mash bill I would say here. Am I positive it is a Maker's Mark product? No, but it does give me that vibe. It is throwing me into the old weeder vibe, a little bit of like a dusty corn and then like a wheat field. Even though I do believe this is a wheated bourbon, I don't put it in the category of a sweet whiskey. It's more of like a bird's nesty, outdoorsy, kind of like grainy whiskey. Going back to the nose, and there are some remnants of some red fruits, maybe like a drip drop of cherry syrup or something. But there is a dairy note on here that I do get from a Maker's Mark product that's kind of like taking the cake, if you know what I mean. If that cake were a cheesecake. Do I necessarily love this pour? Not necessarily. I don't think this is either great or very good. I would consider this whiskey to be pretty good. Palate is very bright and stingy, a little astringent, a little bit sharp. It's not like rounding off in my mouth very well. I don't necessarily love it. I don't think if I had a bottle of it, I would go back to it very often. I would say that on day 19, the pour receives a score of 6.9. It's pretty good. Would I be surprised if this were a Maker's Mark product? No. It's not force feeding me Maker's Mark notes, but it's like trickling Maker's Mark notes, like slow drip Maker's Mark notes into my system here. On day number 19, the little elves from Minnesota sent me, and everyone else who has a calendar, a pour of Old Soul Bourbon, single barrel selection by Lucky's Wine and More. 121.8 proof? I did not pick up on that proof. Is there a mash bill? A mash bill. Anybody? A mash bill? Product of Mississippi's oldest distillery. Is this Mississippi whiskey? Cask strength, straight bourbon whiskey, uncut and unfiltered. Is Old Soul distilling their own product? Does anybody out there know? Is Old Soul Bourbon distilling their own bourbon, or is this sourced? If they are, anybody know the ages on these or the mash bills? Is this a weeded bourbon? I don't know. Not a bad pour for day number 19. Thank you so much, Damon and Daniel, for sending it. Thank you for including me in this calendar again. And if my math is correct, we only have day 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25 left. That's 6 more days of this advent calendar, meaning 6 more videos. And if you're already sick of them, super sorry. Change your attitude. Put a smile on your face. Enjoy bowling. There's 6 more. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up. Thank you for subscribing if you're not subscribed already. My name is Matt. This is ADHD Whiskey. Like I always say, keep your head in the clouds, but your mind on being an old soul. Because sometimes you just need to be old school and just, you know, open doors for people and say please and thank you and yes ma'am and no sir. Eat a Werther's original once in a while.